like I'm Sonny Crockett. Play with me, that's a risk. Gold chain master, risk. All wifey, Sonny Crockett from the Vice, yeah, it's pricey. I ain't tryna hear you whine while I'm dining. Telling yo, I ain't tryna hear you on my telly, yo. Play with me, I'm knocking like a stereo. Play with me, I'm knocking like a stereo. Anybody for a feature, I know all my haters on a first name basis. I'm the type to steal the flows from. Whoa, they the type to want my income. I think that I've had enough of jealousy and entertaining. No, I'm never giving up. I'ma start this in the making. No, I'm never giving up. I'ma start this in the making.
Yeah, I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat. Yo, grew my hair and took the grill out. Think it's time to put it back in. Trying to get into that big house, turn the crib into the mansion. Needed something with that big bounce. You know I had to hit Jackson. Aaron Rodgers with the quick routes. How with the gang we packing? We on the field at Lambo. Might peel in a Lambo. Running drills in my camo. They know what the M stand for. Still got fam in Hawaii, yeah. Couple fans in the lobby, yeah. Couple grand in my pocket, yeah. Couple grams of wasabi, yeah. Eye it up, no glasses. Light it up, no matches. Wife it up, no ratchets. Might turn my wife to an actress. And we gon' make a movie, no Kim K. Give a fuck about what your friends say. I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
I'm just sticking to the code, I keep it so G. She asked me what I smoke, I'm smoking OG. I don't fool with too many, only catch me 4 deep. Gotta stay away from snakes, swear these people so creep. I've been grinding for a minute, many labels so sleep. These rappers drop a song, be hot for about a week. I put Gucci on my toes, I keep some cold feet. I ain't paying for no hoes, you niggas know me. I'm about to body the beat. I keep me a hottie with me. She wanna for a fee. Give me that for free. Keep me some money on me. Smoking the gas key. You with me, sheesh. Bonito, cheap, Keith.
I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On the road, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles voice cracking live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And once in a while, guys, we will come to you at 5:49 p.m. p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But what is up, Mafia? Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you guys. And Bitcoin, oh man, Bitcoin just continuing the sideways price action. We are now on our 6th day inside our local range here. What is the next move for Bitcoin? Are we going up? Are we going down? Well, I'm going to be quite honest with you guys. The charts are a little bit fuzzy. We do have some bullish signs on Market Cipher B here. However, there are some conflicting signals, but I'm going to give you guys all the key levels and what I'm looking for, although there's not much to look at. But I'm going to break it all down for you guys so you're ready for the next move on Bitcoin so you don't miss that next move, whether it is to the upside or the downside. But yeah, kind of a brutal week here, guys. Just kind of going sideways in our local range here. Very, very well respected volume profile here as we go sideways. And I was talking to the Premium Discord yesterday talking about the Frankie Candles Essentials Indicator. If you guys do not have this, go check it out on TradingView. It's completely free. No email, no nothing. Just go type my name into TradingView. It's by Lux Algo. Shout out to Lux Algo. Get it on your chart. It's a souped up fixed range volume profile that'll show you when you're getting those bearish and bullish signals when you deviate above and below that volume profile. And it has called that range almost perfectly on every single push to the downside and the upside. But I do want to take a look at Bitcoin with you guys quickly, give you the update, kind of go over the levels I'm looking at. And then I also want to take a look at Solana here, guys, as we are potentially starting to see some signs on the higher time frames that could call for some more upside. But we're going to take a look at the bearish case, the bullish case, and I'll let you guys know which way I'm leaning. But shout out to the Mafia. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate every single one of you guys. And shout out to Mr. Ethereum and K Diggity, the first two people in the live stream. I was about to start it just as like a solo live stream with them. Shout out to K Diggity and Phoebe. Can't forget about them. But shout out to K Diggity. Shout out to Mr. Ethereum. We got Jesse in the chat. He is our like police, guys. If he asks you to hit that like button, please respect Jesse, the like police. We don't care if you touch it with your butt, headbutt it, flick it, tap it. We don't care. We don't judge you. Just touch that like button. And if you do it, hit it an odd amount of times. We got Dave Digital in the chat. What is going on, bro? Welcome in. Let's see. Yo, Dave says, is that the Dave Digital original black on white Frankie Candles Richardson 112? Oh my God, it's the Richardson 12 3000. Shout out to Dave Digital. Let's go, baby. You can see him wearing that beautiful hat in his profile picture. So shout out to Dave Digital. Shout out to all the mods. We got Crypto Anon, Crypto Billy, Captain Kirk, who just had a birthday, Rob the Crypto Snob, Darren Dustings. You guys know who they are. Tyler Durden. Show him some love in the chat if you love him as much as we do, and I know you guys do. But let's see. We got 85K USDT loss. Shout out to 85K. Let's go. Welcome in, bro. We got Cryptic Aussie in the chat. What is going on, bro? We got Spiritual Trade Podcast. What is going on? Shout out to you, bro. Oh, God, we're already starting off on a crazy note here, guys. But, yeah, shout out to Edward Torres. Sometimes I sit here while in the waiting room, guys, and I read the chat, and I'm just, like, absolutely falling out of my chair. But shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate every single one of you, but we got a lot, kind of, to look at on the charts. So let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Shout out to TDK. Let's get into it. So here we are, guys, and Bitcoin just the definition of bing bong, bing bong, bing bong, bing. Where is that next move going to be, guys? Is it going to be the bong to the downside? Is it going to be the bing to the upside? Or would the bong be to the upside? Because we would be going a little bit higher. Anyway, but let's break this down for you guys. Now, as you know, Bitcoin has kind of been pretty uneventful this week, just kind of ranging around here above our point of control of our range here. Let me go ahead. Yeah, this is our current range that we're looking at. Value area low still sitting at $81,648. POC sitting at $83,154. And then you got that value area high sitting up here at about 88,180, right? 88,200. And we are kind of just stuck on top of this POC, guys. As we know, the POC is the strongest magnet within the profile. And you can see that as every time we try to leave it, we get sucked back down to it. Leave it, suck back down, leave it. Are we about to get sucked back down to it? I want to talk about what I'm looking for here inside this local price action. But first, let's go ahead. We're going to turn off the levels here, come on to the higher time frames, and kind of break down what we are looking at. Let me just grab this, put it into our current range folder, and there we go. Okay, so now, like I said, guys, we do have slightly mixed signals on the chart. Now, obviously, we do have our VWAP on the daily coming towards that zero line. But the one thing that's interesting about this is we are starting to get a little bit of support, right? When we are going to see a big move when that VWAP crosses over, whether it's to the upside or to the downside, oftentimes we like to kind of see it like round off right? Like this. And we actually have kind of the opposite, right? So we're kind of getting a little support here on the 0 line. But when you have these inverted VWAPs, sometimes it means that price might want to kind of squeeze to the upside. Now, we also have our money flow on the daily finally starting to make some higher lows here. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say that this is like a mega bullish sign or anything like that. But these are kind of the mixed signals that I'm seeing, right? The VWAP is coming down, although, I would take that with a little bit of a grain of salt just because of the inversion there. But if we come on down here to the 16-hour, you can see we do have that fresh green dot. Money flow starting to come back to the upside here a little bit. And then come on over to the 12-hour, you can see we have that green dot as well. And if we come on down to the 1 hour and the 45-minute, this is typically the market cipher B116 strategies that we look for, right? The 12-hour green dot with that money flow crossover into the green on the 45-minute. And you can see we did wind up getting that right here. We did get the continuation to the upside. And then 1 hour is kind of very, very choppy here, right? We have the 16-hour green dot. Money flow was just crossing over into the red on the 1 hour. Now it's kind of back in the green. VWAP is kind of flat here. So we are seeing, which is very, very typical when you have this sideways price action. Money flow is kind of choppy. Everything is kind of hard to pick a direction. So I'm going to kind of show you guys how I'm dealing with the market, even though we are kind of seeing these kind of chopped up indicators. But 12-hour, 16-hour green dot, and we don't have the 45-minute money flow, the 1 hour money flow crossing into the green at the same time as our 16-hour green dot, which is really what we like to see. But we are seeing that on the 12-hour, right? So bullish puzzle piece here, right? 12-hour green dot, 45-minute money flow crossed over into the green. Are we going to be able to see that continuation of the trend to the upside? I would say, guys, like right now locally, I really hate saying this, but I would say I'm kind of neutral here. And as I've kind of been talking about all throughout this week, I'm kind of just sitting on my hands waiting for the bigger key levels to get hit. Now, obviously, we do have this little scalp range right here, obviously, in this sideways price action, right, which has been respected absolutely perfectly. Deviate above the high, back to the low, deviate the low, back to the high, back to the low, back to the high, back to the low, back to the high, low, high. Are we going to go back to the low, or are we going to break out here? And like I said, I am feeling a little bit neutral here. But, as you know, the key levels that we have been watching are obviously within this larger volume profile. So the bigger levels of resistance and support that I'm looking at, guys, if we do indeed see that daily red dot print and we get a bigger rip to the downside, or I should say drop to the downside, not a rip. I will be looking at the PLC as key support, as obviously this has held us up, and this is a nice level to be above. Now, we also know that we do have some support, some liquidity sitting down just below these lows, right, at about $83,000, right? We do have liquidity sitting below, and we also have another pretty key level of support, which is not only the POC, but we also have this daily naked point of control sitting down here. And, kind of what I'm looking at is if we are able to get back down towards that POC, maybe we kind of just continue sideways over the weekend. But if we are able to drop down here, as you guys know, we've been looking at this level all week. And again, the levels haven't really changed because we've just gone sideways, right? And, if we do deviate here, I will be looking for a potential sweep of that liquidity on these lows here into our anchored VWAP. Now, this anchored VWAP is pulled from this high here that we made on March 24th of this year, obviously. So you have the anchored VWAP, you have the daily naked point of control. And this could be, right, if we're going to continue kind of the higher highs and higher lows situation here, we could potentially see something like this where we come sweep out this liquidity. And right now, I am approaching the markets from a very if this, then that standpoint, right? I am not just entering random longs unless it's within the context of this local range, and I'm looking at it as a scalp below the low, right? Come back into the range, back to the high, back to the low, back to the high. Unless I'm looking at that kind of the local scalps within that local range, I'm really waiting for these bigger levels to get hit. And the key level of support that I will be looking at is going to be that daily naked point of control. And if we take a look here at our larger trend line that we had been getting stuck under for quite some time, right? This is our macro downtrend. We had the weekly green dot print, and to be honest, oh man, it's kind of it's kind of lackluster, right? We really want to see this weekly green dot start to push us to the upside a little bit more. But as we were looking at that weekly green dot that was printing last weekend, or started to print last weekend, we wanted to see a crack out of this trend line, right? And we pushed above it, and we did not see that liquidity sweep that we did not want to see, which would have looked something like this, right? Where you just kind of wick above, come back down, close your candle below the level, and then you get stuck under that trend line for another drop to the downside. And we did not see that, which is somewhat of a good sign, right, in my own personal opinion. So, we're above the trend line still. We're just still kind of bing-bonging around that POC. Weekly green dot is probably going to confirm unless we get some kind of a mega dump over the weekend. This will likely confirm on Sunday. We'll see what happens over the weekend. But, as far as the trades in for my personal trading plan, right, I am just going to be waiting to either come down to the key level level of support, right? And I'm going to talk about some lower levels as well. You can see we do have a daily naked point of control sitting at about 77.2, and then we also have a weekly naked point of control sitting at about 78.5. So, if we do, right, the if this then that at this moment is going to be, if we come down here, I will be looking for some support on this level, right? Let me see here. Do I have this? Yeah, here we go. So we have this blue box. This is what we drew the other day. POC. And then we have the anchored VWAP, the daily naked point of control, and then the liquidity sitting below this wick, right? So if we were able to see some kind of a quick little, right, we could potentially get that bounce. And within the terms of our volume profile, this would make pretty good amount of sense, right? You get above the value area low, you push into the POC, you flip it to support, you hold it as support, it acts as a magnet, sucking price back down, and if we do come back down, I would love a sweep of that liquidity. If we could reclaim that POC, we might be able to continue our journey through that volume profile for a full fill of that range. And, more often than not, this is what we end up seeing. However, it's not 100% probability, right? Nothing's going to be 100% in trading, but, obviously, if we do kind of stick around this POC, we know it's going to be a journey. It's not always that clean rip right up to the value area high, which we do see sometimes, but oftentimes, it will kind of be a choppy, scary, confusing journey. If we wind up losing this daily naked point of control, the next key level of support is locally going to be the value area low at $81,648. But if we wind up coming back down there and we lose this range, right, we could potentially look for longs below the range. But at the end of the day, guys, there's not a lot of confluence on this value area low, right? If we do come down here and we reject out of the range, the next bigger levels of support are sitting down here at around 78,550. And then the daily naked, where we have the weekly naked point of control, and then we have the daily naked point of control sitting at about $77,227. This is going to be the real bigger key level of support if we get rejected out of this range. And if we pull our Fibonacci retracements here from the low to the high, you can see the weekly naked point of control is confluent with our with our golden pocket, right? And then let me turn that to blue for support. And then we will also have the 786 and that daily naked point of control in confluence as well. So if we don't, right, the kind of first thought here is if we're able to stay inside the range, as always, right? Let me hide the scalp range to kind of clean things up. Get from the low to the POC. As long as you remain inside the volume profile, you could potentially look for the fill up to the value area high. If we do come down and we do not get any bullish confirmations on this daily naked point of control, maybe we even take the trade and get stopped out, right? But if we do wind up losing that value area low at 81,629 is your next level. And then if we don't get accepted into there, we may want to go down and test some of these bigger key levels. So the biggest levels of support, in my opinion, where we actually have confluence is going to be the daily naked point of control, which, by the way, is sitting at 82,329. And then down here towards the golden pocket weekly, and then the 786 daily. But we kind of have to wait for those levels to get hit, right? Because I'm not just going to take a long here in anticipation of maybe coming up to the value area high, right? I want to see an actual entry trigger. I want to have an actual setup present itself. And like I said, sweep out that liquidity below this wick at 82,921 into the anchored VWAP and the daily naked point of control. That's going to be the first place where I'm going to be looking for those confirmations. With the premium Discord, we already have our setup waiting down there for us. And you might be asking yourself, well, Frankie, what happens if that, what happens if that 16-hour, 1 hour, and the 12-hour green dot with the 45-minute money flow crossover into the green winds up giving us the push to the upside? Well, very simply put, we're just going to be simply looking for price to come up there, and this is the next key level of resistance, right? This is what we've been looking at all week. And again, there's not too much to really update here, guys, just because we've gone sideways. So, $88,000 value area high with all of our liquidity sitting above this high, guys. We've shown this so many times. I hate when we have such repetitive price action like this. But let me see if I can pull this up. Let me pull this up on the 2-week time frame. Come on. Come on, Coin Glass. There we go. All right. So, coming up here, you can see we do have a lot of liquidity leading up into that level, right? So, if we zoom in here, let me just make sure I'm on symbol. Bada boom. We'll turn that up a little bit so we can see it better. So, really starting here, $86,530 all the way up to closer to $88,000, guys. And actually, if I pull this up on a little bit of a higher time frame, look at the 1 month. Come on, load it up. Come on. Man, everybody's looking at the heat maps right now. Why is this so slow? Come on, there we go, right? So you can see here, $88,000 on a higher time frame really is where a significant amount of that liquidity sits, and this is the pocket that I'm looking at. This sits between, I would say, $88,600 all the way up to about almost $90,000, guys. So if we pull that up here on the charts here, right? 88,000 all the way into that $90,000 786 Fibonacci retracement that we have. And, you know, a lot of liquidity sitting up here. I could even like maybe move this box, right? We have a ton of liquidity sitting up here, which gives us two opportunities, right? As we've talked about, if we do get a move up here, we could potentially look for the deviation above our value area high. If we get those bearish confirmations, which obviously with the liquidity sitting up there, we could be looking for very specific swing failure patterns for a potential return back into our range. Hopefully this is not the case. And I hate to say this, guys, because every time I say this, it does wind up being the case. Hopefully we can avoid it. But if we do come up there, this is like the next major level of resistance that I'm interested in. And if we do get the short confirmation up there, I will take the short. And, you know, we talked about on Tuesday, we talked about how this is a little bit of a dangerous situation because when you have that gigantic amount of liquidity sitting up there, sometimes this could just add fuel to the market to push us up to higher prices. But if we get those bearish confirmations, I will be taking a short position with good risk management in case we do get stopped out. No big deal. Take a small loss and then move on. But I really hope that if we do come up here, right, it'd be nice if we take the short and we go all the way back down. But this is going to be absolutely brutal, right? Because then that's going to be, you know, Bitcoin stuck in this range for 60 days, which would be absolutely beautiful, assuming that it moves at this speed. And nobody wants Bitcoin to just keep going sideways, right? Like I'm at the point where, you know, more often than not, I would rather a big dump than sideways price action. But I'm kind of at the point where I don't want a dump, right? I just kind of want to get going here, switch up the sentiment here, get a push to the upside, get some more excitement into the market. But at the end of the day, on the chart, this is the next key level to look at. Tons of liquidity sitting above. And again, we do have to be careful because, you know, when we have all these short positions, and if you do not know what I'm talking about with what is liquidity, right? I think a lot of people like to use the term liquidity to kind of, you know, sound fancy. But when I refer to liquidity, I like to make things as simple as possible for the Mafia to understand so you guys can actually act on this information and potentially make some money. You know, when I'm talking about this, I am simply talking about stop losses, right? Stop losses and liquidation levels, when I refer to liquidity, is what I am talking about, right? So anybody who is shorting up at these highs, a lot of their stop losses are going to go where, right? They're going to go above the value area high or the key level of resistance, whether they're looking at it as a horizontal level of resistance or a value area high. They're going to be setting their stop losses above the highs, right? And that's why you get, when you have tons and tons of people shorting at the same level, right? That's kind of what builds up all that liquidity up there. And the reason that you see these big liquidation wicks, if you're new here, is because when you stop out short positions, okay, bear with me here, guys. Nice. Computer's lagging. This is what I love. I guess I put too many trade tools in here. Let me actually go ahead and let me close some of this stuff here. Okay, so there we go. Can I draw? Will you let me draw? What is going on here? Let me draw a line. What is going on here? Let me go ahead and let me see something here. All right, let me pull up this. Let me pull up this. Maybe I got to draw on this one. I don't know. Sometimes the tabs on TradingView. By the way, TradingView did make a little bit of an update here. Yeah, sometimes the tabs just go bad. Like this tab has just been open for too long, maybe. But when you have all those liquidation levels and stop losses sitting up there, guys, the reason we see all these big wicks before big rejections is because a lot of times when you come up here and you push into these stop losses and liquidation levels, when you get stopped out of a short position, it creates a market buy, and that's why you get those short squeezes to the upside. But the question is, when we get up here, we have to be very careful. Like I am only going to be interested in this short position if we could get a clear confirmation. And for me personally, as you guys know, if you watch this channel for more than 5 minutes, you will know we love the swing failure patterns, and we also love swing failure patterns plus bearish divergences with money flow coming out. It's one of the highest probability setups you could take. And in my experience, at least, I'm sure there's maybe something out there higher probability, but for me personally, this is like the highest probability setup that I personally like to trade. So if we see those strong confirmations, we stop out all the shorts and we get the SFP, we could look for that correction to the downside. Now, even if this does play out, I will be looking at this as somewhat of a scalp position until proven otherwise, right? Because again, sometimes if we come up there, maybe we get a little correction and then we go for the rest of that liquidity. And if this could potentially, because we have so much liquidity up there, it could just cause a massive short squeeze up into higher prices, right? And let me know in the chat. If you've been tuning into the Frankie Candles live stream, let me know if we short squeeze up to higher prices after 90K. What is that next key level of resistance? I think you guys know. It's right near that macro value area low. Drop it in the chat right now. Let's see. Shout out to Vegas Claw said, Frankie Candles make an onion cry. What does that even mean? Shout out to Vegas Claw. Yo, shout out to Crypto Pollo in the chat. Welcome in, bro. Shout out to Stupid Bitcoin says 94.4, 97K. Okay, I like it. There's one step before 97K. It's actually not too far above 90,600. But shout out to Crypto Pollo. Welcome in, bro. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Felix. Said Frankie, what's good? What's good, bro? Much love from the UK. Shout out to the UK. He says, I've made some gains trading this local range. All learned from you, bro. Let's go. We're pinning that. Yo, shout out to Felix. We're pinning you to the top of the chat. Did you use the Frankie Candles Essentials indicator, or are you using the regular volume profile? Let me know. Because maybe I'll show. Let me know if you guys want to see that. I'll take a look at the Frankie Candles Essentials with you and show you kind of exactly what it does to give you those indications, when you should be looking for potential longs or shorts. But real quick, let me just wrap this up, guys. If we get the move down, right, obviously that's our next key level of support on the daily naked point of control that we just went over. If we do continue up, interested in short positions, but being very careful because, again, when you have such a high amount of liquidity sitting up there, sometimes it could just act as a short squeeze, right, and just kind of yeet us up into those next levels of resistance. The one thing I like about this, right, because we do have the 786 here at about 90,600, so you could potentially push right into that key level of resistance. So two things I'm looking for here. Potential liquidity sweep, right? And even if we do kind of hang out up here, we could potentially form some kind of a little range, which, this is kind of what we call a failed auction, which is essentially an elongated SFP. I'm not going to go too deep into this. Maybe I'll make a video about it. But because we have this resistance above, if we do just kind of short squeeze into that 786 and get stuck under here and start to range around, we might be able to start looking for short positions within that local profile to short from the value area high back down to the value area low. And then you look at that as a scalp position until proven otherwise. If you start breaking below this value area high, you could say to yourself, well, hey, I was really only looking for this short to play out from the value area high all the way down to the value area low. And then you could take your profits, move your stop loss to break even for a guaranteed winning trade. And then if price gets back into the value area high, you could look for the rotation back down to the POC and potentially back down to the value area low, turning that little scalp short into a massive, massive grand slam trade. Oh, I wouldn't call this like massive, but a nice little, what is that? Almost a 10% move. That would be very, very nice. So it's going to be a little bit difficult kind of looking at this. And like I said, I'm going to be a little bit more careful with this just in case we do get a massive short squeeze. I just don't want anyone thinking like once you get up to this level, you just instantly short. You have to get the entry confirmations. But very simply, if this, we look for shorts. If that, we look for longs. If we lose the value area low, I'm going to be simply waiting. Maybe we have some new levels that we could look at the time. If we lose this range, these are the next key levels of support, getting closer to 78,550 and 77,227. So that's really what I'm looking at. I'm kind of sitting on my hands for the most part right now, just waiting for one of those levels to get hit. And because of the chopped up signals that we're seeing on Market Cypher B, it does make it a little bit hard to call a very certain direction, right? If we did not have the 12-hour green dot with the 45-minute money flow crossing over into the green, and if we didn't have this kind of inverted VWAP here, looking like it kind of just wants to, because a lot of times what happens with these inverted VWAPs, guys, is even if you get the red dot, it kind of just swoops back to the upside, right? And then it's kind of just like a little fake out and a push back up. If we just had this daily red dot without the 12-hour and 45-minute setup playing out, or setting up, I should say, I'd be very confident about coming down here and getting that move back up. But right now, it's an if this, then that statement. I have my alert set, so I'm going to go into the weekend here. Actually, Mrs. Candles is leaving town, so I might just be sitting on the charts all weekend. But I have my alert set, right? If I get the alert, maybe I'll come back. I'll come back to the charts and see if we get any confirmations. But other than that, guys, we're just within our volume profile. Like, just from a simple volume profile perspective, like, we would hope, right, that the higher probability move is to eventually, maybe we get some noise, right? But eventually just get that continuation up through the profile. But if it doesn't happen, we have plans for that as well, looking for the long here and then potentially looking for the bigger drop down to these levels. But I will say, daily money flow starting to work its way back up. Again, nothing to write home about. But it is kind of nice that we are finally, right? If you're having trouble, guys, with the money flow, trying to figure out if you're trending up, just pull a trend line, right? Like, are you sure it came out a little bit here, but you are making higher lows, right? So the hope is that this red dot doesn't print, right? If this red dot does wind up printing and yet just drags money flow back down, that would be very bearish, right? But if we could just get like a little fake out on that daily red dot, get that money flow to continue up, that would be pretty nice, right? For at least a bigger continuation to the upside in the context of our larger retracement, which we all know could potentially be bringing us up. Let me clean up some of these naked points of controls, hide the range. Let me get rid of these. Right. And if we do get that bigger retracement, right, hopefully we kind of just like work ourselves out here. Even if we do get the bigger drop to the downside, hopefully we're working on some kind of a macro bottom formation here for that bigger retracement, which I saw some people put it in the chat. That next key level of resistance above the 786 at 90,600 is going to be the value area low at 91K. Guys, this is still the massive level, right? If you're not in here trying to like trade all these like technical little moves, really the level to get above is, whether we come down first, right? We just want to kind of form some kind of a bottom here and then get above $91,000. Once we get above $91,000, this is the real doorway to higher prices that could lead us up to about $97,000. And then this, in my opinion, is the biggest level of resistance on the chart right now. If we can make it up there, this is going to be a big level to get above. Once we get above there, guys, I'm going to start feeling pretty good about potential all-time highs, right? And then the only thing we have to worry about up there is, like, are we just going to, like, swing fail the high again like we did back here, right, for another massive drop down? And then in hindsight, it's like, oh, massive triple top, right? I hope that's not the situation. But right now, 91K still remains the biggest level to get above. Until then, not only are we just like, this week has been brutal going sideways, right? Just boop, 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 right? Just absolutely brutal. But even on the higher time frames, right? Just kind of chopping around down here, and we're hoping that this is some kind of a bottom. And don't forget, guys, we did come down to macro support down here with bullish divergences. This doesn't guarantee a massive move up, but it is really nice to see, right? Like, oftentimes when you get this, especially if we can get the daily money flow to continue working its way to the upside, this would be a really good signal that a strong bottom has formed, right? Bullish divergences with money flow coming back up. The divergence shows you that there's a strong bottom, and then money flow coming back up would indicate that the higher time frame trend will very likely continue to the upside, and that's what we're looking for. Major next target, 91,000 to 97,000, 91 to 96 and 91,000 to 96 to 97,000, right? Because this is kind of a zone. This zone does start at about 96 and then leads you up into that $97,000 golden pocket, POC confluence, right? So long term, hopefully we could just, whether we come back down here to that 78.5 level, which again would be confluent, with our golden pocket here. That would be nice, like a little retracement into the golden pocket before coming back up. But yeah, locally, it's kind of hard to figure out what's going to happen in this like little internal price action. But for the most part, guys, like until we really start losing this Fibonacci retracement, not very likely to put in new lows in my opinion. Once you start losing that 786 though, yikes, that might be the start of the move down to $72,000 to $70,000, right? But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. We have not only support down here at 78.5 to 70, where is it? 77.2, right? But we also have like the local support here within our profile, right? So like we might not even have to go down and visit those levels. Hopefully we just get that little liquidity sweep and a push back up here, and then maybe we bing bong around and then squeeze up into the bigger range. That's kind of what we're hoping for in the bullish case. But again, sitting on my hands, we come up here, I'm looking for the shorts. We come down here, I'm looking for the longs, and then we lose the range. We're coming down here. We lose the 786. That's the line in the sand for me, guys. Lose that daily naked point of control, 786 confluence, right? And there's, again, Frankie, but what about the value area low, right? Well, the value area low, like, maybe you do have a little bit of confluence here on the local golden pocket, but there's no daily naked point of control. There's no weekly naked point of control. There's no weekly horizontal level. There's no daily horizontal level. There is confluence here, right? But I would just say that the stronger confluence is actually lower, right? And that's why I say, like, if we come down to the value area low, just generally, right, this is where we're looking for longs, right? But if I didn't get any, I would need some really strong confirmations here because of the lack of confluence, right? Really, that confluence sits a little bit lower, right? So hopefully we bounce here. If not, these are the next big levels. But other than that, guys, I'll be honest, not too much else to update here. This is kind of what we've been looking at. If you just tuned in and you're new to the Candle Mafia, now you know exactly what I think. If you're tuning in, and you usually tune in, you're going to be like, well, wow, nothing has really changed. But shout out to you guys. Let me just jump into chat real quick. And we are going to take a look at some altcoins as well today, guys. Let's see. Shout out to BJK. Said like 254 is mine. Smash that like button, guys. If we get 1,000 likes on tonight's live stream, I don't know if we're going to be able to do it in the sideways price action, but if we get 1,000 likes on today's live stream, I will give away, I don't know. We'll give away some crypto. We'll give away like $100 in Solana or something like that. Let's see. Shout out to Adriano Miller. Says this week market conditions is no good for leverage. Just sitting it out. Yeah, shout out to Adriano. And this is really important. I mean, I talk about this a lot. I've been talking about this a lot recently because it's the environment that we've been in. Now, obviously, we have been trading this, but for the most part, guys, like this is, patience comes in very, very, very key here, right? Because we, again, if you're trading the local price action, right? If I hide this, I'll give you guys some local levels too, in case, if you guys are sitting out there and you want to look for some trades and you just don't want to wait for the bigger move, I would recommend that. That's not really a great way to approach trading. I said to the Discord earlier today, like, hey guys, Once again, my exact plan and my exact trade setups remain exactly the same. The confirmations are all still the same. But patience is key right now because I don't like to trade because I'm bored, right? That is not a trading strategy. Sometimes there's multiple days, right? And again, other than your local range, let me pull this up real quick, right? Other than this local volume profile, and I'll break down these levels as well because there are some internal levels that we can look at. But unless you're looking for these, and again, these are kind of hard to take if you're not like a full-time trader. If you're not sitting on the chart full-time, these are kind of hard to catch. But, you don't just want to get into a trade because you're bored. And trust me, guys, I still struggle with this, right? And more often than not, it does end in a really, really bad way, right? You just want to wait for the higher probability setups for the bigger moves, right? Other than that, it's just kind of like, hey, like I said, the shorts and the longs here within the local profile have been very, very good, right? What happens? We deviate above the high. This has been an extremely technical range, right? You have your volume profile. We know that we're only looking for longs as we approach the value area low or deviate below. This is where we look for longs. This is where we look for shorts, right? Deviate above the high, get the bearish confirmations, look for the move down. Deviate below the low, look for the confirmations, get back into the range, back to the POC and the high, so on and so forth, right? But, you don't just want to like trade because you're bored, right? This is a very, very quick way to lose all your money. I promise you. Don't let my mistakes go to waste, right? Like, if I get to help you learn from my mistakes so you don't have to make them, it makes all my mistakes worth it, right? But unless you're looking for this stuff, I'm simply sitting on my hands for the bigger trades, right? You have to be willing, like, honestly, you could tell a lot about a trader by how patient they are, right? Like, there's so many times where, like, I won't even be in a trade, right, for a whole day, right, or maybe 2 days, right, just waiting for that bigger key level. And then if you finally get that bigger key level hit, you look back at the previous price action, and you're like, wow, thank God I didn't try to trade that chop. I just waited for the bigger level, right? And this came in all in this larger range that we had back here as well, right? Like, not trading in all the chop, just waiting to come up to the key levels and catching the better trades, right? Not trying to short every single up and down, but just waiting for the key levels to get hit and then jumping in on the big moves. But to kind of cover this local price action here, I'll be honest with you guys. Last night in the Discord, I was saying, or yesterday in the Discord, I was saying, like, guys, if this thing rotates again through this volume profile, it's insane, right? Absolutely goated volume profile. And yesterday we kind of came up here for to where we had our key level of resistance, right? I'll just pull this real quick. Pull our fib. Whoops. Pull our fib from the high to the low, right? We had our golden pocket and our 786 retracement here, right? Key resistance. We look for shorts as we deviate above the high. And what were the confirmations here, right? Now, the confirmations aren't always going to be exactly the same, but I'll just talk about what we looked for this one, right? So this, or what we saw, right? Because I was not even, this wasn't like a specific trade setup. This is just how we trade the ranges. Come into resistance, deviate above the high. If you get those bearish confirmations, you could look for a return back to the low. And once we came up here, right, we tapped that value area high. We came up for a second approach, and what happened here, right? This is, again, one of those really, really nice confirmations that we see. Higher highs on our price action, lower highs on our momentum waves, and actually the 15-minute is what I was looking at personally, right? Higher highs on our price action into that key level of resistance, lower highs on our momentum waves. There's your bearish divergence, and you can even see here, we got a little SFP of this wick, right here, right? And we did have visible liquidity sitting on the chart, right? So you put in the bearish divergence, you sweep above this wick, come back down, close above that level, this wick, talking about this wick right here, right? Sweep that, close below. There's your SFP. There's your bearish divergence. What happens? Right back into the range to the POC and the value area low. And then, funny enough, I did not take this trade, but I will just say, if you come on down to a low enough time frame, it's really wild, right? You come on down here, and what do you get? You get a bullish divergence down here. And again, I don't want to say that you should just trade bullish divergences as you deviate below the low. But in the Discord, I was talking about, like, guys, I never recommend you just trade based off this one confirmation. But if you go back in time and you find a good volume profile and you just look at what happens when you rotate from the high to the low and the low to the high, more often than not, there's at least going to be a bullish divergence on some time frame. Now, this is just a 1 minute, but you did get the lower lows on your price action, higher lows on your momentum wave. There's your bullish divergence. You get into the range, flip the value area low to support, and you get the move into the POC. And oftentimes, guys, even if you don't get the full rotation of the high, that POC is very likely. It's the strongest magnet within the profile, right? So price is very likely going to get sucked back up there. And we actually wound up, it still kind of played out, right? Because we came back down, we tapped the value area low again, came back up above the POC, tried to tap the value area low, lost it, back to the value area low. But eventually, you did wind up coming back up to that high, right? So it would have been quite a journey if you did take that trade and you looked to hold it, right? Let's say you entered in on that 1 minute bullish divergence, TP1 at the POC, stop loss to break even, right? You would have still been in that trade and it would have hit final TP. It just would have been quite a ride, right? But just to kind of show that, right? Bullish divergences below or above a value area are very, very, very good indications that you could potentially get back in. And then once you get back in, you know there's a high probability you're going to get back to that POC and even the value area high. And this is kind of where, maybe I'll show this, right? Because this might be worth it for anybody who's learning. If you don't really know and you're looking to learn about the volume profiles, you know, if you use my indicator, Frankie Candles Essentials, totally free, no email, no strings attached. I have nothing to benefit from this at all. I don't get paid for this or anything. Just type in my name into TradingView, Frankie Candelabra, Lux Algo. It's about 2.7K downloads. Click this, and this will give you a volume profile with added features, right? It also gives you, right? Well, I'm going to take the auto populating fib off just to clean up the chart. And let me go ahead, and I'm just going to turn this to... I'll just change this to wave trend, and I'm going to turn this down to 3. So yeah, you can see, right? This just kind of helps you, and this is not to be treated as a buy or sell signal, right? This is not just wait for a saw scan short, wait for a saw scan long, but this will help you understand how I do my analysis in a very, very simple and fast manner, right? Pull your volume profile, and this indicator will show you when you're getting bullish divergences or bearish divergences only when you're deviating above your key levels, right? Deviate below the low, look for the continuation back into the range, back to the high. Deviate above the high, look for your bearish confirmations. The saw scans are letting you know that they're there, right? Get back into the range, accepted below the value area high, into the POC, down to the value area low, right? And this indicator has almost caught almost every single deviation above, except for these little ones, right? Because you don't have divergences up here, so it can't mark it out, at least on the 30-minute, right? You might be able to see them on a lower time frame, but there you go, right? Like, this is a very, very simple way. And again, you're not just waiting for sauce cans, although I know some people out there trade it like this, and they say they have a pretty good time at doing it, but I would never recommend you just wait for a sauce can, because you have to understand kind of what, do you have liquidity above, right? Because if you're looking at this, and you know you have liquidity sitting above this wick, and you put in this little bearish divergence that got indicated right here, sure, you short it and it comes down, but you want to be very careful, right? Because more often than not, price will seek out that liquidity. But if you understand it, so it is important to understand how to do the TA, but this is a really good starting point. But if you're waiting for that liquidity, you could say, well, hey, you got a little bit of a sauce can here, right? A little bit of a divergence, right? Maybe you come down. But if you just wait for that SFP and then you get another divergence with the sauce can, right? There you go. Now you have bearish divergences and the SFP. There's your high probability reversal back to the downside. Down here, little bullish divergence, you bing bong around, back in, back to the high, right? And if you go down to a lower time frame, you pull the range on a lower time frame, very likely you had the same signals here and here. I don't know this for a fact. I know you had it here. Let's come down to the 15-minute real quick, right? This is the one I just went over. Let's go to the 15-minute. There you go, right? You come up, bearish divergence, SFP, back to the low, right? And if we came to the 1 minute, maybe you even called that a 1 minute bull. There it is, right? There it is. Absolutely beautiful. There's that 1 minute bull dev I was talking about. You at least get back into your range. And this POC is a little bit higher because I probably pulled it a little bit differently. But we all know that POC was, I believe, sitting here on the range that I'm actually looking at. But there you go, right? So go check that out. Totally free and a really easy way to understand how I do this TA and how you could potentially trade some of these local volume profiles. And they are very, very, very high probability. And to be honest, it's kind of the only trading you could do within this choppy price action. But other than that, I'm just waiting for the higher levels, guys. But now you guys all know all those levels that I'm looking at. Now, I will give you an honorable mention. Key level if we do come out of this local range. Get that off the chart, right? I'm going to pull up the local range. Here's an honorable mention, right? And I'll be honest, guys, like sometimes the charts just aren't that clean, right? There's a lot of ranges I'm looking at here. This is a local range pulled from March 8th, 2025. I don't know why I keep saying the year, but pulled from March 8th. And then we have the current range that we're looking at, the larger range with the 88K value area high, the next big key level I'm looking at is pulled from all the way back here, right? So that 88K level is the more important level in my opinion. But if we turn that off and look at the local range, you could see this one has also been pretty well respected, deviating above the high, coming back down, front ran the low just a little bit. But this is another level, right? We have the 86,000. This starts at about 86,883, 86,890. This is potentially another kind of honorable mention key level to look at, right? Again, I'm not as interested in this as I am in 88K, but this is just something to look at, right? Because let me see if I pull my, let me pull the, let me just pull the range high here all the way to the low. No. Yeah, I'm not as interested in this level, but it is here, right? Because sometimes what will happen is when you're looking at the bigger range, you might see something like this happen. And this is why I like to look at all these different levels. And it's nice when you put them in folders like this. It makes it a little bit easier to digest, so you're not just like looking. You don't want to look at your chart like this, right? If you're looking at your chart and you see this, start over. Delete everything off your chart, start over, organize things into folders, right? Because obviously all these levels are important, but looking at them all at the same time is very, very confusing, and too much information is very oftentimes bad information. So if we take a look at the larger range, sometimes what could happen is you might come up, right? And then you wind up rejecting and getting a bigger push down. And although this might still be in the journey to the $88,000 value area high, you're going to be wondering to yourself, like, what did we reject here, right? Well, potentially, it could have been this value area high. And, you know, again, we do have liquidity sitting above this wick. Whoops, get that off the chart. We do have liquidity sitting above this wick as well, right? So if we do come up here, sweep that liquidity into key resistance, might be able to look for the return back down. But again, I do like to stick to more of the like bigger, more important key levels on the channel, at least on YouTube. We obviously look at all these levels in the Discord constantly, but these are really the bigger levels, right? Like these are the more significant levels. Very clean rejection, very clean rejection, very clean support, clean support, right? Reclaim, back above the POC, right? So this is definitely the bigger level, right? And again, we do have the main majority of the liquidity is sitting above there, right? So I am a little bit more interested in this level, but I just did want to bring up that $86,000 level because it's not like it's not there. And then one other thing I did want to take a look at with you guys was the high time frame, like the very high time frame. Let me see if I can pull this up on the 3-month. Might be enough. Let me take a sip of that black coffee. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob in the chat. What is going on, bro? Welcome in. I knew you were here. I didn't see you come in though, but shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. Welcome in, bro. Good to see you. Let's see. Shout out to Al Jr. said getting serious anxiety considering I'm on the 1 minute chart and it's like time stood still. Like, dude. Shout out to Al Jr. Yeah, I would recommend Al. You just stay up unless. I want to be clear about this, right? Like, it's not like you can't just scalp the 1 minute time frame. Obviously, you can do that. But when I'm looking at the 1 minute, honestly, from the 1 minute to the 15 minute, when I look down towards these time frames, it's to find entry triggers, right? I am never, ever looking at like, oh, look at this. I have a 1 minute range, right? Like I'm not like looking at this on the 1 minute and going like, and it's not that you couldn't do it, right? Price action's fractal, but I'm not looking at this volume profile being like, oh my God, this is a fire short up here. You could do this, right? But if you did do this, let's say you found a little bit of confluence here, like, okay, hilariously enough, there's your golden pocket 786, right in confluence with the value area high. Again, I'm not saying this was a good setup or anything, but you just have to understand that like if you're looking at the 1 minute like that, these moves on the 1 minute are very small, right? It looks really scary. It looks really big, but I don't recommend monitoring the chart on the 1 minute time frame because it just floods you with emotion, right? Because it's like, oh my God, we're dumping, but you're not, right? You're just dumping on the 1 minute, which is this whole move was 0.3%, right? So like this is not a dump, right? And this is I see this a lot, like in chat. Sometimes people are like, oh my God, we're dumping. And like I go to the chart and I'm like, we're not dumping. And then I go to the 1 minute and I'm like, oh, that's what they're talking about. But this is not a dump, right? It doesn't mean you can't trade it, but you would have to trade it with a very large position size. And just understand that you're not looking for a huge move. The 1 minute does add a lot of emotion into the chart, right? Because every move just looks like a massive pump or a massive dump. Like even these moves, right? Like even this bigger dump to the downside here, right? This was only a 1% move, right? For example, a 1% move on the 1 hour time frame. Try to find a 1 minute dump here, right? Like this is a 1 minute, basically a 1% dump, not a 1 minute dump. This is a 1% dump on the 1 hour, right? Like you want to be looking at this like, oh my God, we're crashing, right? So yeah, I feel you, Al. Sometimes I look at the 1 minute and be like, oh my God, we're dumping. And then I realize we're on the 1 minute and I'm like, oh, let me come up with a time frame. So yeah, typically what I like to do is find the high time frame key levels. And again, another thing that you'll wind up doing on the 1 minute is trying to catch every single move. You'll be like, oh my God, we're dumping. Let me short. Oh, wait, no, now we're pumping. Let me short, right? It's the quickest way to chop yourself up, especially as a beginner trader. It's much better, in my opinion. The only time where I'm going to the 1 minute time frame is really, right, if we were to come up here to that 88,000 value area high, now I'm going down to the lower time frames, and I'm just looking for the entry trigger, right? I don't care about this move, right? All I'm doing is saying, okay, now we're at key support or key resistance. Let me go down to the 1 minute, or I usually go 30 minute and down. So let me see what's happening on the 30 minute. Am I getting any bearish divergences? Am I getting any SFPs? Let me go to the 15 minute, looking for very similar things, right? A lot of times there's order flow confirmations that we're looking for. But that's where I go down to the lower time frames. It's to find my entry, right? Not trading the 1 minute. Very, very, very bad for a beginner trader, in my opinion, right? Not that you can't, I want to be very clear, not that you can't do it. But hopefully that makes a lot of sense to you. But let me pull up this Bitcoin liquidation map real quick. So yeah, $100,000. I'm actually going to pull this up maybe on the 6 month. Might be a little bit cleaner to look at. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Mike Bennett. What is going on, bro? He says, time is a fickle relative mistress. Shout out to Mike. And yeah, like, I want to be very clear. It's not that you cannot trade the 1 minute, right? Once again, you totally can. You just have to understand you're not looking for like big moves. And it's not even that. It's don't let a 1 minute dump scare you, right? Like, this is okay, right? On a higher time frame, this could just be a little tick to the downside. So be very careful. And the reason I say this is because I know as a beginner trader, the first thing I did, I was like, I'm getting into trading. I'm going to trade. I'm going to be a micro time frame scalper. And although there's a lot of money to be made in that, right? And now as a more advanced trader, I have much more success doing that when I do it. But as a beginner trader, this is like I always recommend people start with the higher time frames. Start with swing trades. Start with higher time frame day trades. Don't get into trading and then get stuck looking at the 1 minute time frame. It is the most frustrating, and the big reason is because of the flood of emotions, right? You can only control so much, right? You have so much of trading is stacked against you. The odds are stacked against you already. It's a hard game. The market doesn't care about your emotions. The market makers don't care about your emotions, right? All this stuff is against you. So you have to control the one thing that you do have control over, and that's your emotions. And so that's why you just don't want to, why would you inject something that would push more emotion into your brain if you don't have to, right? You could control that. On the 1 hour, if you get a 1 minute dump, right? Like, it's like, oh, okay, cool, we're pushing down a little bit. Is that going to freak you out if you're long from down here? No. But if you're looking at the 1 minute, and you're like, oh my God, we're getting a huge dump. This is scary, right? It just adds so much more emotion because all the moves are like kind of amplified visually. All right, let's see. Yo, shout out to Dr. Crimson's girlfriend. Welcome in. And I always feel weird when someone, shout out to Crimson and Dr. Crimson's girlfriend. I always feel weird being like, shout out to Dr. Crimson's girlfriend. Shout out to Wick's wife, Fine89. It's just their name. But shout out to Dr. Crimson's girlfriend. Not in a weird way. Says your friend Doc was like number 385. Where are you other 300 degens who haven't clicked the like yet? Smash that like button if you have not already. Thank you to Dr. Crimson's girlfriend, and thank you for sending that super chat. Yeah, smash up that like button, guys. Let's see if we can get to 550 in the next. I'm going to put the timer on here. I'm going to give it, let's say, we'll go 10 minutes. Let's see if we can hit 550 in 10 minutes. Let's do it. But let's see. Shout out to Dr. Crimson's girlfriend. Let's see. Shout out to Mr. Wolf. Said, let's go, baby. Shout out to you, man. Chemistry, bro, in the chat. Welcome in, bro. My voice just cracked again, guys. I'm going through puberty. Who knew? 32 years old, finally hitting puberty. Love it. Let's see. Shout out to Spaghetti Regretti. Shout out to you, bro. He said, sorry for the 300 comments, but whereabouts do you pull the sauce can indicator on the charts? Shout out to Spaghetti Regretti. Shout out to Tony D, bro. If you could get the FC Essentials tutorial video and drop it in the chat for Spaghetti Regretti. And go check that out, bro. I show you exactly how to use it. Pretty much you just pull it over ranging price action. But I show you all the settings and everything that you need to know about that indicator in the tutorial. So shout out to Tony D if you could drop that. Spaghetti Regretti, go ahead and watch that, and you will not regret it. I promise. Let's see. Shout out to Flippin' Pages. Says, without news, BTC looks to dump the consolidation over the weekend. In my honest opinion, shout out to Flippin' Pages. We'll see. We'll see what happens, bro. We'll be ready to react either way. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm kind of hoping for that push down to the daily naked point of control. If not, man, maybe we'll get the bigger dump. But hopefully not. But we'll see what happens. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Mr. Wolf. Said, Frank, you're the best in the TA game. Why are your likes always low? Shout out to Mr. Wolf. I don't know. Smash the like button. Smash the like button. I don't know. What is a good like ratio for the amount of viewers? At Tony D. Is Tony D here? He's probably scrubbing to see where the tutorial is. Let's see. We've been hitting 1,000 pretty good. Yo, shout out to Steve. Said, "Sup, Frankie's Crypto Stevo in the chat." Shout out to Crypto Stevo. Welcome in, bro. Good to see you. Good to see you, bro. Let's see. 10 million. Shout out to Tyler. Oh, Tony is here. Oh, shout out to Ken, bro, for dropping the indicator tutorial. So if you guys want to check that, I will pin this to the top of the chat. Bada boom. So if you want to check out the Frankie Candles Essentials tutorial, go ahead and click the pin chat. Shout out to Tyler Durden. Said 10 million. Guys, we need 10 million likes. Somebody get us 10 million likes. Tony D, can you look up an average, like what a healthy amount of likes to viewer ratio is? I wonder where we fall on that. Let's see. I guess there's a good chance. Base Bailey said, yeah, I guess there's a good chance for a tiny dump this weekend since the stock market fell earlier this week. Yeah, potentially. All right, so, yo, shout out to Mountain Magnets. Welcome in, bro. Welcome in. Okay, so, yeah, I'll be honest with you guys. That's pretty much what we're looking at. This sideways price action, kind of brutal. But I want to take a look at some of the altcoins. If you guys want to see your favorite altcoins, drop them in the chat right now. Rob, let's do like 2 requests. I'm going to run through a few of them. Let's do like 2 requests. So drop your altcoins in the chat right now. Rob the Crypto Samba, count the votes and let us know what we're looking at. Shout out to Frederick. Said, what's your game plan for the upcoming week? Shout out to Frederick. If you scrub back, I go over all my plans on Bitcoin at least, and we're about to go over Ethereum and Solana. Shout out to LS Skywalker, or L Skywalker says, I can't like for some reason. Shout out to L Skywalker. They blocking the like button, the SEC? Powell's trying to block the like button. Let's go, baby. Fight it. Yeah, the like to viewer ratio is the best bull market indicator. Yeah, for sure. It's crazy. It's like if we're pumping, if price is moving, I mean, we kind of have a unique view here. Being a content creator, seeing the chat, right? The types of like conversations that are going on in the chat, the view count, right? Like all of this is very, very indicative of the state of the market, right? It's crazy. And I noticed that anytime there's a 5% dump or pump, that's like the number. 5% is where you see a big spike. Pretty interesting. Shout out to Crimson, says, I'm long and not worried. Let's go. Shout out to you, bro. Well, I hope you pump in that case. Hoping we dump to get out of the short at 83K. All right. All right, so let's go ahead and fight the Powell. Let's go. All right, so let's take a look here. Yeah, drop those altcoins. Rob will count up the votes for us. And, yeah, let's start off with take a look at Ethereum here. Now, Ethereum has been in the same situation as well, right? Now, just taking a look at the higher time frames here, guys, we have come down to a let me just actually, we'll keep the spider lines on real quick. But you can see here, we did push down. We didn't really have a ton of support down here, but we did have a spider line, which wound up, holding absolutely perfectly, right? We got above it, flipped it to support, and pushed up. Now, if we pull up our ranges here, I'm going to pull up the, that's our little local range. I'm not even going to go over that because it's so local. But yeah, this is kind of what I'm looking at if we get a push up on ETH. Now, looking at the daily, money flow has still not started coming to the upside, right? You can see we are still trending down on money flow, maybe. Yeah, maybe we're putting in a little bit of higher low here, so a little bit hard to say. It depends on kind of how this shapes up, right? If we start wiggling to the upside here, that would look good. But I would say, like, locally we're trending down. Overall, we're kind of making a higher... We have the potential to put in a higher low here, but we haven't done it just yet. So, yeah, I'm going to show you kind of what I'm looking at here. So, if we do not get another push to the downside here, right, maybe we get a little fake-out VWAP flip, which is what we like to call it, right? Hit that VWAP over the 0 line, get the red dot, flip back over, get the instant green dot. Oftentimes, it'll be red dot, green dot right after, and then you kind of avoid the bigger dump, and you push back to the upside. If we do that, the level to break is 1644. If we can break 1644, we have the opportunity to come back into this range and maybe get a little bit of a push to the upside, targeting the POC at about 1850, get above that POC, push into the value area high at about 1944. Wonderful year. I was born that year, actually. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here in the medium term, right? If we do get another dump down, there are kind of 2 ways this could play out. If that VWAP rolls over the zero line and we get a bigger dump to come in, and again, like we've already gotten a little bit of support here. We came down, got a little bounce. But I do kind of like this momentum wave. It's kind of a mixed bag, right? The reason I like it is because if we could come down and put in a lower low, we can get a nice daily bull div here into that spider line once again. I wouldn't mind wicking below it. I wouldn't want to close too many daily candles underneath here. That would be bearish. But if we can get like a little wick here on the daily and then reclaim that spider line, this momentum wave does look like it could put in a little bit of a daily bull div, right? And that could give us the power to finally push back up into this range, into the POC, into the value area high. Really hard to call how that's going to play out, right? Because like I said, as far as like direction right this second is a little bit hard to predict, right? You have the 16-hour green dot looking to print, but your money flow is coming out. Also have an inverted VWAP here, which isn't the strongest, right? There is time for this to kind of change. We could kind of round off, cross over into the zero line again. But yeah, it's 16-hour green dot also potentially looking to print here as well. Nice little anchor wave, somewhat of a trigger wave here as well, right? Two ways this could play out. If we get the bigger dump on that daily red dot, you could put in the 16-hour bull div would be nice as well, right? On top of the daily bull div, but you could just have like an anchor trigger wave situation. Sometimes when you see this, you don't always need the divergence, meaning you don't always need price to make the lower low. If we're going to hold this, higher low and just continue breaking structure or start breaking structure, anchor wave, trigger wave. This sometimes can still just give you a bigger move to the upside. But as of right now, the money flow is very, very chopped up. It's very hard to call. 2-day VWAP, above the zero line. 3-day bull div. We still have these high time frame bull divs, which over the long term could be good. But let's be honest, ETH has failed to show any kind of strength over the past few months. It's like failed miserably. It's just in a massive downtrend. This is super bearish, right? In order for me to really start looking for bigger moves up on ETH, we got to claim $2,000, right? Break these highs, hold the macro value area high as support, and our value area low as support. This is your real doorway to higher prices. This lower range, honestly, is only good for the local moves, right? Like, even if we do come up here, we all know, right? Let me hide the spider lines real quick. Yeah, I think we all know, right? We have the golden pocket come up to a higher time frame. We have the... Is this the same one? I just want to make sure I'm looking at the right... I think it's this one. Right, so you have your golden pocket. Hide the bear market range. Right, if we're going to look for that retracement, pull from the high to the low. Swing high to swing low. Golden pocket POC confluence. Bada boom. 786 value area high, right? So if we could just get that trigger wave to push us up above this level, break 1644 to support, could be looking up towards that POC. Probably going to get some turbulence, flip the POC, look for the 786. That would be the bullish case. The bearish case would be that this daily red dot gives us the bigger move down. The nice thing about that is we do have an opportunity to put in a daily bull div, which could be, in hindsight, a very nice thing to see. Right? Because we have the daily bull div on Bitcoin. Right? We have the daily bull div on Bitcoin. We do not have it on Ethereum. Lower lows, higher lows. This is nice, right? Money flow starts to come up. Maybe that's your bottom. Ethereum, not so much, right? Ethereum, we don't have higher lows. Lower low, equal lows, but like no real bullish divergence here. So got to see what that daily red dot gives us. If it doesn't give us a lot, maybe we see that anchor wave situation. Maybe we just come in for like a golden pocket retracement or something like that. Pull up a 4-hour. And we could always also pull this as a range. So if we pull this, see where this fib pulls up. These would be the key levels. If we're not going to put in the lower low, you would want to hold this 786. If you don't hold that 786, see where this sits. I'm going to see if we have any confluence on these zones too. So you have a daily 786 here. Ugh. Yeah. I mean, this is, you really want to hold that 786. You have the golden pocket and the 786 sitting a little bit lower, but I would say this is the level you want to hold. Right? So if we do get a push down and we're not going to make a lower low, you would hope that you kind of just deviate below this range, come back in, and then maybe you get back accepted into the range. If you lose that 786, you might have a higher probability of putting in that lower low for the daily bull div. So that's what I'd be looking at on Ethereum, right? Local range down here, but other than that, I'll just repopulate this if I have to. Other than that, like the big level, 1644. You got to get above there. Hold it as support, push up. So there you go. All right, let's see. Hey guys, everybody, Mafia, look behind you. Hurry up, look behind you. I'm not a nerd. I don't know what that was, guys. I don't know what that was. Anyway, shout out to Dave Digital said alt season. Let's go. Alt season. Actually, let's take a look at Total 3 real quick. Actually, let's take a look at others. So yeah, I mean, you do have your 4-hour money flow crossing over into the green, and we're going to take a look at Solana in just a second here, guys. Solana low-key on the higher time frames looks like it might want to start moving. What's with the blue L's in the chat? What is that? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that. It's blue L's. What did I do? Why am I getting L's in the chat? What did I do? Let's see. Johnny December in the chat. What is going on, bro? Eats a nice stable coin. Shout out to Rhythm Robot. Shout out to you, bro. Yeah, the stable coin. It's a depegged stable coin. Just dumping. But yeah, it's I mean, Bitcoin's kind of been a stable coin lately as well. Shout out to Dr. Cribs' girlfriend said, Frankie fibbed. He's a chart nerd. He's a turd. It's an inhaler, Frankie. Jesse, what is it? Oh, there's that 10-minute alarm. Did we get it? I don't think we did. Oh, 490. We were so close. 550 in the next 10 minutes. We got 3 minutes. 3 minutes to hit 550. Let's go, baby. We're in salt season. Yeah, shout out to Crypto Poil. Welcome to salt season. Let's see. Okay, so real quick, I do want to take a look. I mean, you have your 4-hour money flow crossover. I'd really like to start seeing, I'd like to see the daily money flow start to shape up here. You could be making a higher low here. We'll see what that green dot gives us. That weekly green dot also incoming on others. Yeah, we might get this weekend, right? We got the weekly green dot last weekend on Bitcoin. Maybe we get it on others this weekend. That would be very, 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 very nice. However, money flow on the weekly is definitely not what we want to see. Like, definitely not what we want to see. To be quite honest, guys, looking at others, right? If we just come in hindsight here, money flow crosses over into the green right here, 2016. Massive rise. Money flow crosses over into the red, bear market. Money flow crosses back over into the green, bull market. No fake outs. You kind of almost got a fake out there, and then we came up a lot. Hopefully, we're just seeing a bigger exaggeration of that, but we have a crossover into the red here. Next weekly money flow crossover into the, well, here we go, right? Weekly money flow crossover into the red. I mean, this was kind of already down, but that was kind of like towards, we got one last drop, and then we came back up. And now weekly money flow crossover into the green. First one happened right there. I don't know if you can see it. Massive rise. Now we've gotten the weekly money flow crossover into the red. And we are just starting to, man, we already dumped heavy, and now we're just starting to get that weekly money flow crossover. So, I mean, that's just not the best case because obviously more often than not, when you get those weekly money flow crossovers, bigger drops are to come. Hopefully that's not the case here. Hopefully we just get like a fake out. It doesn't mean we can't fake this back out into the green. That would be very nice, but it is what it is, right? We have that weekly money flow crossover into the red. It's something we have to keep in mind. So if we do get that green dot, we have to look at it in terms of a potential retracement, lackluster retracement, lower highs, potential lower lows. Hopefully, on this retracement, if we do get it, you can get that money flow to come back into the green. That would be a good sign, but, well, yeah, we'll have to see what happens. But, yeah, other than that, see if that daily money flow works its way up. Nothing really too much to write home about on this. But real quick, I do want to take a look at Solana here, guys, because there are some interesting things popping up here. So, on Solana, if we take a look here, number one, we have the 2-day bull div, right? That 2-day bull div did end up coming into the value area low, value area high, and the POC of our previous range. This is what we wanted, right? This was our big level that we were looking at. We've come down in there with the bullish divergences, so you have the bullish confirmations there, and we have gotten the bounce. Not only that, but we are potentially looking to get accepted back into our larger range, right? This is the doorway to higher prices, targeting $143 to $168. As long as we can stay above this value area low, the doorway to that POC is open. Flip that POC, we could potentially look to go up to the value area high. But those levels are no good unless we have money flow agreeing with it, right? And I will say this. Taking a look at the daily money flow finally starting to work its way back to the upside. Bullish divergence is confirmed. Money flow starting to work its way up. This actually even looks a little bit better than Bitcoin. And then if we look at that, right, market cipher B 1/16 strategy, where we have the daily green dot and a 90-minute money flow, or I'm sorry, daily green dot. What is 16 times the daily time frame? Exactly. It's the 16-day. Or pretty much the 2-week, right? If we look at that 2-week, this VWAP is on the way to the upside, right? If we could get that 2-week green dot with the... Did we hit it? 513 likes. We almost did it, guys. Smash that like button if you have not already. We only need a few more. We're at 515. We need 550. And then next stop, 1 million. But if you appreciate the free content, guys, and the free education and the free levels and the this is pretty much all you need in crypto, right? If you're a trader, all you need to do is tune into this live stream. It's 100% free. If you appreciate it, smash that dang like button. Let's see. Dave says Jesse needs 1K likes like the police need my ID. Shout out to Dave Digital. I got ID'd the other day. I got ID'd the other day at a restaurant, and I was flattered. They were like, "Can I see your ID?" And I was like, "Actually, I forgot it at home," because I did. And then the owner came up to me. Funny story, actually. The owner came up to me and asked me who the president was when I was a kid, or when I was like whatever age. And I was like, George Bush. And she was like, "Okay, fine, you can have a beer." And I was like, "Okay, cool." But yeah, let's see. And I want it now. Shout out to Jesse. Okay, so we've come down to the key level support, bullish divergences, money flow starting to work its way up. I actually do not hate this, right? But more than that, if we can get that, if this money flow can continue to work its way up and cross over into the green, and we can start to print that 2-week green dot, right? That would be very, very nice. We've already got the weekly green dot, which is pretty nice. We've got the 10-hour money flow crossover into the green. I don't know. Like, sure, could we get low time frame turbulence here? I'm actually short on Ethereum right now, Solana right now. I'm in a little bit of a scalp short that we were looking at in the premium Discord off a tiny little SFP. We like low-key barely got the SFP, to be honest. But we did come up and SFP this wick, like almost to the, like we kind of tapped it like to the dollar, like barely. If you come on down to a low enough time frame. Right, you just came in, you tapped it, and we got the bigger drop to the downside. So I'm actually short on Ethereum right now. Keep saying Ethereum, short on Solana right now. But that's not just because I think it's going to zero, right? Like everything is in you have to keep in mind the context. But maybe we kind of chop around. But if we could stay above this value area low, guys, maybe we just kind of consolidate. Maybe we even slip below it a little bit, go for a little bit of a retracement. All right, maybe we already got that retracement. Yeah, like maybe. Let's see, where do we have confluence here? Yeah, daily on the 786. I don't really want to come that low, to be honest with you. Yeah, this daily naked point of control, this would be a key level to watch on Solana, right? So, maybe we see some turbulence, but I would ideally hope that we could stay inside or at least, close to this value area low and wait for that daily money flow crossover into the green with the 2-week green dot. And we could also look at that weekly green dot confirming this weekend, potentially, with a 10-hour money flow crossover. When you get that 10-hour money flow crossover with the weekly green dot, that could indicate that we are looking to get a bigger push to the upside. Or I'm sorry. Hang on. Am I messing that up? I want to make sure I'm giving you guys the most accurate information here. But that could be good, right? That could be nice. And just in general, the money flow coming up with those higher time frame, sick. What is going on here? Phone is not working here, guys. The computer's not working. The phone's not working. Dang it. Okay, yeah. I'm not tripping. I got to stop second guessing myself. Yeah, so 10-hour money flow crossover with that weekly green dot. That's what we kind of want to see. That's a market cipher B 1/16 bullish setup. But that does not mean you can't see low time frame turbulence. Like I said, I am technically short Solana here. Be honest, we didn't really sweep all the liquidity I was looking for. So I honestly wouldn't be surprised if I stop out of this and we finally sweep all the liquidity into the weekly naked point of control. But I did take a stab at that because I did get the SFP, right? It's an if this, then that. If you get the SFP, I take the trade. If we don't get it, I don't take the trade. It's very simple. But with that 10-hour money flow crossover in the weekly green dot could mean that the trend is more likely to continue to the upside, right? This would also indicate a longer-term uptrend, right? You could get the pullbacks, but this is a longer-term signal. Could be nice, right? We could start to see things turn around here a little bit. Maybe you got a little bit of a, maybe you got, I don't know. Maybe you have a little bit of a head and shoulders formation here. Not that I pay much attention to that, but could be, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit of turbulence, but I'm not going to lie. That 10-hour money flow crossover, if we can get this to continue up, that would indicate with that weekly green dot that the trend is more likely to continue the upside, even if you get a little bit more of a pullback. And if we do, right here, between 119.27 to 117.87, daily naked point of control, golden pocket confluence, that would be a very important level to hold. Let me pull the anchored VWAP. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful confluence. Level number 3, golden pocket, weekly naked, daily naked point of control, and the anchored VWAP of the entire move down, or from the bottom of this trend. Nice confluence there, right? So maybe if we do pull back, that would be nice, and then maybe put a higher low in and continue up. That is what I would like to see if we pull back. If not, ideally, we just stay inside the range, right? And then we continue up. But yeah, I don't know. We're above the macro value area low. We got the weekly 10-hour money flow crossover with the weekly green dot. We'll see what happens. Not that bad. And then, to be quite honest, if we dump down, lose that 786, value area high becomes your next key level of support for me personally, right? Yeah, because then you pull your full fib, you got your golden pocket, your 786, your value area high, 2 daily naked points of control. So ideally, we hold here. Level number 1 on Solana, you would hope you hold $127, right, above the value area low. Lose that. This is your next key level. 786, honorable mention. Maybe you come down, fake out, reclaim, back into the range, up. But if you start losing that 786, probably coming back down here. And in my opinion, you got to hold above that value area low, value area high, right? Because if you break back down in here, you're just back down into your lower range, which would be annoying, to say the least. Let's see. We got a super chat from TDK. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Sub. Thank you for that, because I would have missed that. Shout out to TDK. Thank you for the super chat, bro. He says, would you consider SFP levels? I assume talking about others. I don't look. I mean, I guess you could. Yeah, you could get SFPs. It's like a little different because it's a market cap chart. But 199. Shout out to TDK. Say, would you consider SFP levels 199B, 199, 169? Let's see. So yeah, I assume. Yeah, you're talking about right here, 199. 169. Yeah, potential. I mean, potentially. I don't really look for SFPs here. I mean, if you just look at the candlestick patterns, right? Like, does it happen? Yes. Beautiful SFP bounce, right? Whoops. SFP, big bounce. So, yeah, I guess you could look for it. I don't really... Yeah, it's kind of hard because, like, I don't trade others, obviously. But, yeah, potentially. I mean, those would be big levels just in general, right? Because you come... You've already swept these lows. So, I would, yeah, 169 right here. That'd probably be the next one to look at. 176 will be another one as well. Yeah, I don't typically look at it like that when I'm looking at a market cap chart. But, again, you know, if you just look at it, you know, it does happen, right? You do get the SFPs, right? Even here. Boop. So, yeah, TDK, the answer to your question is, yeah, technically you can, right? You just have those big lows. So, yeah, 100%. Again, not something I personally look at, but, yeah, I would say you could. Shout out to Crypto Pollo. Thank you for gifting those Frankie Candles memberships. Let's go, baby. I'm late on that. But shout out to Crypto Pollo. Thank you for gifting those memberships. And shout out to whoever got those. And if you got one, gift it from Crypto Pollo, drop a golden emoji in the chat. Shout out to Golden. Shout out to Tales of Mystery. Said, Frankie, did you start becoming profitable after you stopped chasing trades? Shout out to Tales of Mystery. I always say this. One of the biggest turning points I had in my trading journey was simply I started making more money the less trades I took, right? Like, I started this in the worst possible situation, right? I got into trading and I did everything the worst way. I was chasing. I was trying to get rich overnight. I fell for every buy and sell indicator, thought I was going to get rich. Got lucky a few times gambling and made some money. But I learned it all I learned it all the worst way. I mean, every mistake 10x, right? And I will say one of the biggest mistakes I ever made was, again, this is why I say, like, try to stay off the 1 minute chart, especially if you're new, right? Because, like, again, it's like I'd be looking at something and I'd say, oh my God, we're dumping. And, like, little did I know, being so inexperienced, like, this is not bearish, right? Like, it could be, right? But you have to understand the larger context, right? Because, like, if you're just chasing every little up and down in the market, and hopefully you guys kind of see me do this, right? Sometimes I will even say, hey, it looks like we could continue up. Like, for example, let's say we had a lot of confluence, right? Maybe we had a market cipher B116 strategy. Maybe, every time I feel good about the direction the market will go, that does not mean I enter the trade, right? Actually, the most recent time this has happened was down here, right? We came to our key level, and I did not take the long position. We had the long set up in the Discord, but I did not take the trade. Why didn't I take the trade? Well, I simply didn't get the entry trigger. Right? And there's going to be times where you come down to a key level and you barely front run it and price just goes without you. And that's totally fine. You could tell a lot about a trader by how they react in this moment, right? What are they doing? Are they panicking? Are they trying to catch the short? Are they trying to catch the long? What are they doing? Because at the end of the day, only thing you should be doing is sitting on your hands, waiting for the next setup, right? So I did not get the SFP. We didn't get bullish divergences. There was simply no reason for me to enter the trade. And even as we were coming up, one thing we were looking at in the premium Discord was the fact that we had our 1 hour money flow crossing into the green, which hilariously got swallowed. I did catch the short, right? And I did this on the live show. I showed all these trades on the live stream, right? We got the 1 hour money flow crossover into the green. And I was saying in the Discord, like, hey guys, we had the 16-hour green dot, 1 hour money flow crossover into the green. This looks good for some more upside. That does not mean, right, this is not an entry trigger for me. It used to be, right? I used to just trade based off the 1 hour money flow crossover if I had the 16-hour green dot. And to be honest, it's a pretty good strategy, right? But I don't trade like that anymore. I like to have better confirmation, right? And when I'm looking for an SFP, right, or whatever it is, it might not be an SFP. But down here, did I get an SFP? No. Did I get a bullish divergence? No. Do I take the trade? No. Am I mad that it went up without me? No. I sit on my hands, and again, just because I thought it was going to come up does not mean that I instantly I instantly enter a trade, right? The only way I enter the trade is if I get the actual entry trigger, right? And more often than not, in this case, you will come back down, sweep the low, and then come back up, but not all the time, right? So you have to be willing to sit out on the trade. And what did I do? I sat on my hands, waited for the next key level to get hit, which I believe was a weekly or a daily negative point of control, and up here, I did get the bearish divergences, right? I did get the SFP, right? Or we weren't looking for an SFP up here, but there was other confirmations. I had some bearish CVD. I did get the confirmations here, so I did take the short. And what happened? It played out beautifully, right? I did not chase the long. I didn't say, oh my God, we're breaking out. I missed it. Let me get in. That's how you get chopped up. You have to be willing to watch price go, even if you think it's going to go up. And that's the whole point here of me bringing this up, is because I literally said 1 hour money flow crossing into the green, 16-hour green dot. I think we're coming higher. Does that mean that you get into a trade? No, right? Because I need the entry trigger. So there you go, right? So you have to be willing to sit on your hands. And again, perfect example of, like, it's okay to miss a move. Oh my God, I missed it. That's okay. I caught this move with confirmations. I followed my plan, which allowed me to enter the trade here. It did not allow me to enter the trade here. And over time, that's going to make you money. FOMOing in on this long, more often than not, you'd get in, right? Oh my God, I'm a genius. And then you get stopped out. It would sweep the liquidity, and then it would go, right? That's more often what happens, right? That's why you stick to a plan. So it's not bad if you miss a move. It's not even bad if you lose a trade. Judge the quality of your trades based on if you followed your rules or not. If you lost the trade but you followed your rules, good trade. If you win a trade but you didn't follow your rules, bad trade. Great, you made money, but you consider that a gamble, right? Because it's sticking to those rules that's going to make you more money over time. So there you go. Hopefully that answers your question. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Alexander. Says, somebody's targeting Frankie with a white laser on his nose. Oh, God. Rat. Back to Smith & Wesson, baby. Rock it. I'm just kidding. Oh, my God. Shout out to Thinkless. Had lost 40K this week. Shout out to Thinkless. Good Lord. I hope that 40K, I hope you got it like that. And that's like 40K is a big loss, but not life-changing. Dang. That's a pretty big loss, bro. I'm sorry about that. That's a stinger. Let's see. Shout out to CJ, said, have you ever scalped using quad rotation stochastic? I have not. Shout out to CJ. Simple answer. Let's see. Stupid Bitcoin says, the secret to losing is no losses under a certain amount of consistency. Yeah, shout out to Stu. Another thing you can do, right, is limit the trades you take a day, right? Like, I am not very often taking 5 to 10 trades in a day, right? I like to wait for the higher probability setups, and it really depends. If I get a bunch of high-quality setups, I'll take them. Maybe there's multiple in a day. Maybe there's 10 in a week, whatever it is, 2 in a week, whatever it is, right? But for me personally, right, I missed this trade. I didn't even miss it, right? I missed the move, sure, right? But I didn't miss the trade because it never set up, right? If it swept, I take that trade all day long, and it would have been a great trade, right? Now, like, and this is why I always say, like, trading in TA is a little bit different, right? Like, this was a pretty, I don't want to say easy, but, like, I was pretty confident we were going to continue up here based off the money flow, based off the 16-hour green dot, right? But again, that doesn't equate to enter a trade, right? You have to be willing, like, hey, I think it's going to come up, and I'm just going to let it go up, right? It's the same thing with the current price action right now, right? Like, if again, I don't really feel too strongly in a direction right now, right? But even if I said, like, hey, it's a really high probability, I think we're going to continue up, that doesn't mean you have to take that move to the upside, right? I'll just say, hey, I think we're going to come up. So I'm going to sit here. I'm going to let it come up, right? Because if I don't have an entry trigger, there's no reason to enter the trade. I could be right about direction without taking the trade. I know it sounds like counterproductive or like an oxymoron, but it's really how trading works, right? I could say, hey, there's a high probability for a move up, but it doesn't mean I'm entering a long necessarily. If I had a reason to enter the long, I would. And listen, if you're using the Market Cypher B116 strategy as your entry trigger, which in my opinion will be the money flow crossover into the green, then you could maybe enter the trade, right? You have to follow your own trading plan and trading strategy. And like I said, I used to trade like that, right? But now I like to take higher probability trades, meaning I don't just want the money flow crossover. I want the money flow crossover with other confirmations to actually enter into the trade. So if I thought there was a high probability of coming up here, I would just say, hey, I think we're going to come up. I'm going to set my alert up here. If we come up here, there's an opportunity for a short. If it comes up there and I get the confirmations, I will take the trade, right? Now, if we come, and for a long position, I have to get a push down into our next key level. If we come down first, I will look for the long, in which case I can then capitalize on the move up. If I don't get the level I want hit or the confirmation I want to see hit, then I'm not going to take this move up. I'm just going to let it go up without me. Once you start chasing every up and down in the market, you will lose all your money. I promise you. Please, for the love of God, take it from me. I've already lost a ton of my money back in the day trying to learn all this, right? So take it from me. And sometimes you will just be like, hey, I think it's going to come up. You're going to enter along, and you're going to be right, and you're going to make some money. But try that over 6 months to a year. That's where you start to see the difference between having an actual strategy and just kind of like guessing on direction. So there you go. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Welcome in, bro. Said nobody like Frankie, one of a kind. Shout out to Crypto Billy. I appreciate you, bro. You're one of a kind, too. Let's see. Shout out to Ken Barkoff. Welcome in. Crypto Ace. Let's go. Said, hello, Frankie. I'm always here. Shout out to Ken Barkoff. Of course, bro. He says, but sometimes lurking, but always appreciate your hard work and dedication to helping us make life-changing money. Shout out to Ken Barkoff. Anytime, bro. That's why we have this channel. That is literally my main goal. Let's see. Shout out to all the lurkers out there. Crypto Pollo says, the market will humble and ego no matter how big. Yeah, any ego, I think is what that meant to say. No matter how big. Absolutely, guys. This still happens to me sometimes, right? Like, I try to control it now, but I will slap a bunch of trades, start getting greedy. The market will shut you up super, super fast. And then, yeah, it's not a fun time. I promise. Shout out to Crypto Boy. I could not agree more. Yo, shout out to Crypto Maxi. Said got lucky and won a giveaway. Loving the premium so far. Shout out to Crypto Maxi. Let's go. Shout out to Crypto Maxi. Happy to have you in there. Agree. Life-changing content does he provide? Shout out to Tales of Mystery. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Shout out to Bearded Mac Mike. Says Solana bear div on the 1 hour. Yeah, so like I said, I am actually, let me come back over to Solana real quick before we take a look at some of the alts. But Yeah, I am. That was partially what we were looking for, or one of the things that we were looking for here in the premium. Now, like I said, I did not really see, I'm not going to talk about, because it hasn't really, I took a shot at the short because I got the entry trigger, right? But it wasn't really the perfect setup that I wanted to see, so I'm not really going to talk about it. It wouldn't really be fair for the people who pay. But I will say that 1 hour bear div is something that we were looking at as an additional confirmation for a potential continuation to the downside. So yeah, 1 hour bear div, actually this 1 hour bear div was what we were looking at. And now, yeah, you don't have one here, right? No, not one here, but you do have one here, right? So if that does continue down, maybe you cool off a little bit. But yeah, we went over, if you scrub back a little bit, we went over the full kind of Solana chart and kind of what I'm expecting here. And then if I do stop out of that short, like I said, there is a little bit, another opportunity to potentially re-enter that trade when we get the stronger setup. But again, I don't want to really, it wouldn't be fair for everyone who pays to talk about the exact thing that we're looking for. But yeah, scrub back if you want to see the Solana TA. We go over everything in great detail. Let's see. Okay, so let's take a quick look. We took a look at Ethereum. We took a look at Solana. Let's take a quick look at XRP. So XRP, right, I actually cleaned up this chart earlier today. And there's kind of, I mean, this is still our main range. It's not much different than what we've been looking at, but I did clean this up very nicely with a new kind of new folders, nice and organized here. But we do have our major volume profile here, value area low, which we are, clinging onto for dear life, right? We came up, we're testing it. Value area low sitting here at $2.05. POC sitting at 240, and then your value area high at 266. That is the major range, right? Deviate below, bullish divergences, right? I'm not saying that's the only thing you would look for, but you got to move back to the POC, back to the high, deviate the high, go back into the range, back to the POC, back to the low. Deviate, back to the POC, front run the high, back to the low, right? And then we deviated. Now we're potentially coming back in. Now, looking at Market Cipher B, let's take a look at the daily real quick. Oops. Daily blood diamond? No blood diamond. That's nice. Let's check it on Heiken's. Red dot's not printed just yet. That might be a blood diamond on the Heiken candles. But, yeah, red dot printing. Let me get rid of this, right? And the reason I kind of have this marked out is because, like, you have your volume profile, and then you just kind of have your overall range, right? So let me actually just hide this volume profile, just kind of show you guys what I'm looking at here. So when you look at XRP like this, you have your volume profile, obviously, which is what I like to really look at. But you pretty much, is there 2 lines there? No. You kind of have your overall range, right? You come up, you form your range, you have your low, your high, deviate the high, back to the low, you bounce off the low, right? You basically just keep faking out this range. This is your overall range. And every time you kind of fake out here, you get a little bit of a failed auction, you go back down, right? You fake it out, you come back up, back to the high, towards the low, you fake out the high, back down to the low, fake out the low. Are we about to go back up to the high? Very hard to say, right? And then the volume profile kind of gives us a little bit more context, right? And like now you're like, well, hey, we might not hit the range low, but we're deviating below the low, right? Below the value area low, not the range low. Range low, value area low. All the value area marks out is where 70% of the volume was traded, right? So from here to here, 70% of the volume was traded in this zone, right? That's why when you deviate above, this is why you want to look for shorts here, right? Because this is the fair value. This is over bought, right? Or expensive, right? Or premium, right? And then when you go below, well, hey, we're usually trading up here. This is like discounted, right? Or cheap. That's why you want to buy down here and you want to sell up here. So for the most part, I mean, you're within your profile. If we could stay inside here, I would look to treat that as a volume profile. Now, what are the chances of this filling in full? Well, let's take a look, right? You have the daily red dot printing, which is not the best thing. 2-day VWAP rolling over. 3-day VWAP starting to roll over as well. 16-hour VWAP. Yeah, there's not much to say here, right? Like VWAP kind of nothing really developing, right? Like you come up, you get the rejection. You're not printing any green dots. 8-hour getting rejected. 4-hour, yeah, it's kind of choppy, right? So, I would watch this range for sure, or this volume profile for sure, and I will delete these range lines just to clean things up, right? So if you stay above the value area low, doorway to the POC is open. However, I wouldn't say that we have a super, yeah, like watch that weekly green dot. That weekly green dot is probably going to be the next big move up that we get, in my own personal opinion. But we don't really, I know the one thing on XRP is we don't really have the divs at the low, which I would like to see. But if we lose this range, I'll show you some of the local support that I'm watching. let me just mark out, right? We have a couple of daily levels here, right? You have a, daily level here. Actually, daily, you have another daily right here. That daily's tapped. Okay, so you got a daily there. Now let's mark out the weeklies real quick. You have your weekly right here. And that's about it, right? You already tapped your weekly there. You got another weekly up here at the POC. Boom, 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 boom. So now we can come back down to a lower time frame. Let's pull our fib from the, I'm going to pull it from this higher low. Whoops. Okay, so we have a weekly golden pocket here. I don't hate that. Would have liked the anchored VWAP to be there. Let me just pull up the daily as well. Just pull the full fib here. Yeah, I mean, I would say, this is your local support, right? Value area low, golden pocket, and then you have your 786 and your daily. You kind of have, there's decent, you have the daily 786, weekly, right? And then, but the confluence really is like the daily 786, obviously the weekly in the golden pocket from that pull. Yeah, so to be honest, kind of a big zone. But I would say, right here between $1.99 and $1.90. This would be a big zone to hold. If you lose this, you're probably headed down towards the daily at about $1.79. Lose that, might be going for lower lows. So line in the sand here, in my opinion. You have the 786 at $1.74, but once you lose that daily, maybe you fake it out, reclaim. It's a little bit difficult. It's the same thing on Bitcoin, right? If we come back down on Bitcoin, it's kind of difficult, right? Because you have a lot of, there's support, there's a lot of support down here. And I don't mean that to be oh my God, there's a ton of support, we're super safe. There's just a lot of levels. So you don't know which one you're going to look at, right? Or you don't know which one you're going to hold. If you melt through this level, you're going to look at this one. If you melt through this level, the next one down here. So it's kind of hard to call off the bat. But I would say first off, the first levels to look at, very simply, between 206 and 203 at the golden pocket value area low, and then the 786 daily at about $1.99 down to about $1.96. That's your first zone. Lose that, you could start playing around with some of the lower levels, but again, there's just so much down here. So I would wait until you lose that daily, or I would wait until you lose the weekly before looking at the lower levels, right? Meaning the larger fib pull, right? Maybe pulling from all the way down to the low. Then you could start to look down here and be like, all right, now we have another massive zone here. Again, there's not a lot of tight confluence, right? I like to have a lot of confluence in one key level. This is kind of like a huge zone, right? So it's very hard to trade. This is a very difficult place to trade because it's well, hey, am I going to bounce here? Am I going to bounce here? Am I going to bounce here? Where is that going to, and this is just a huge zone to look at because if I'm just going to long the golden pocket, there's not a really great risk to reward because if I long here, it's where are you going to put your stop loss? You would have to, I would probably set a couple local setups, right? I would look at the golden pocket. Maybe you put the stop loss below the daily. You start losing the daily. It's just yeah, I don't know. It would just what are you going to do? Put your stop loss below this low? It's a horrible risk to reward. It's a 14% stop loss. It'd be crazy. So this is a difficult place to trade. So hopefully we don't have to deal with that. Or hopefully we just stay up here on these more local levels of support. But if we don't, then we'll just cross that bridge when we get there. But locally, I would look at this golden 786 daily, golden pocket value area low. Maybe we cool off, get back into the range, send it, right? Right? Kind of looking head and shoulders-y, right? They're kind of front-running the formation of it, though. So, yeah, that's kind of what I would look at. And I wouldn't say there's really any trading opportunities at this point, right? Your real trading opportunity would be to get in down towards the lows. But right now, very difficult. Unless you wanted to just long this with your stop loss below the value area low, assuming you're going to hold the value area low and fill the range. But yeah, these would be the key levels I would look at, right? Lose that 786, look down towards the weekly and the daily potentially, start losing those levels, looking for the bigger move down. Now, resistance to the upside, we've already rejected our golden pocket that we looked at. I deleted the purple box because we've already rejected it, but you do have some more confluence up here. 237 to 244. So that would be key level or key target, right? Not only are you going to be targeting the POC, right? Just because that's how the volume profiles work. Who knows what happens here locally, right? But once you get back above this, golden pocket, flip the golden pocket, you're going to look to the POC. Once you get above the golden pocket, where's the next place for price to likely go? 786, right? So multiple reasons to look up there. You also have your weekly. So that's the next bigger target to the upside. I'm going to take this golden pocket off the chart because we've already rejected it. So yeah, if we do continue up, that would potentially be the next target, right? I mean, very simple. Value area low, POC value area high, simply put. So there we go. Jesse says, who unliked? Shout out to Jesse. Yo, unliking is crazy. That's hilarious. I don't know if he's actually serious, but unliking is crazy. It's like, this is good. Actually, said that XRP might go down. Unlike. That's amazing. Let's see. Shout out to Gears of Crypto said, can you show your Frankie Candles essential settings? Mine don't show the same divergences that yours show. Shout out to Gears of Crypto. Go watch, actually pin or not pin to the top of the chat. We'll take a look at Cardano in a second here. But yeah, if you, Tony D, can you drop that link, or Kembro, I think you had the link. If you could just drop that link one more time. Gears, if you check out that tutorial video, it'll show you not only like my settings, but it'll show you what the settings do. So if you want to change it. Because your settings are going to depend on what indicators you're using. So like for mine, I have it shows you in the tutorial how to set it all up, but like mine are pulling divergences either from the RSI. It depends, right? I usually have it pulling from Market Cipher B, which is nice because that indicator does allow you to set up your divergence indications to come from an external indicator, not just a Lux Algo indicator. So if you're using, hey, there we go. Shout out to Dave Digital. I'm going to repin that. Shout out to Tony D. Got it, bro. Got it. And then we'll take a look at Cardano here. But yeah, go check that pinned video, and it'll show you exactly how to use it and how it all works and all that good stuff. Yo, shout out to Gen Z. Said, I unliked because you haven't done BTCTA. Shout out to Gen Z. Oh, yo, shout out to Jesse. Said, but we're missing viewers. Can we get the likes to the views? We almost have an even like to viewer ratio. That's got to be the highest it could be, right? Shout out to Jesse. We're almost there. Smash that like button. Guys, can we hit 650 likes with 650 viewers? That would be insane. Okay, so let's continue on. I want to take a quick look at Cardano. Yeah, let's take a look here. So starting off on the higher time frames. Yeah, I just can't unsee. I don't know how likely it is, but I just can't unsee like bigger daily bull divs on some of the alts. It would take some time to get down there, but it's a little bit, yeah, I don't know. It's not it's really far away. So, you know, that might not happen, right? So I don't want to start like speculating too far out. But we do have the weekly green dot looking to print. I mean, here's the thing, right? Next weekly green dot on a lot of the alts is probably what's going to cause the bigger move up, or the next significant move to the upside. But I'll just give you the key levels here. As like I said, I'm pretty neutral right now as far as immediate direction, just waiting for the next key levels to get hit. But yeah, your 4-hour money flow crossing into the green. Yeah, 90-minute, 80-minute. A lot of this money flow is very chopped up. 80-minute, 30-minute money flow crossing over into the red, but you don't have an 8-hour red dot coming. Yeah, I mean, there's not really, it's really chopped up here as far as the indicators go. I will give you the key levels, though, and actually, as a matter of fact, what I will do here is pull up some naked points of controls to get some more of these key levels. I'm going to organize this as well after the stream, but let's see. Let's take a look at the daily MPOCs. Let's see if we have anything. All right, so you do have a daily naked point of control here at about 56 cents. Actually, I'm not even going to mark that out right now. I'm only going to mark out what we have where we have confluence. Actually, you probably have fib confluence there. Golden pocket. There's the confluence. I don't know how I knew that, but just would have looked pretty, right? So I maybe will mark that out. Daily naked point of control sitting here at 56 cents. Got you got another one up here at about 64 cents. And you have another one right here on your PLC, which is nice. Also not uncommon. So I'm going to throw that in here. Daily MPOC. Let's check the weekly. Yeah, I would love that weekly green dot. Let's check the weekly MPOCs real quick. So you got one right here. And then, oh, these are not marked at as MPOCs. Let me change that. There we go. So you got a weekly there. That's about it. And you got another one all the way down here. All right. So there's your weekly naked points of controls. And now let's see if we have any monthlies. I don't know why I keep changing the dang time frame. Yeah, you got one right over her. Monthly MPOC. All right, so now that we have those, now that we have those, we can take a fresh look here and now see where we have confluence with these key levels. So yeah, I mean, we're just within this profile, so just keep this in mind, right? As long as you remain below this value area high, obviously we've already made it to the POC. If we lose this POC, bigger move down to the 51-cent value area low is probably going to be likely, right? Now let's pull up the naked points of controls. So locally, let me take a look at this. Whoops. Haven't looked at Cardano in a while, so I kind of have to like rework this chart a bit. Yeah, so I mean, this is definitely your range, right? Other than that, like, there's no real confluence down here, to be quite honest. If we let me just pull this whole thing now. Try to make sense of this. Yeah, so if you look at it like this, right, where you have your major volume profile, your macro volume profile, if you look at it like this, yeah, I mean, listen, you do have some work to do. You got 2 daily naked points of controls to get above, but I would say once you flip this daily naked point of control at about 66 cents to support, you could push up weekly and monthly point of control. This is a huge level of resistance. You have a weekly MPOC, a daily MPOC, and a 786. This is key, right? I actually might be interested in a short there. Right? Now, that does not mean that it's going to go to zero from there, but it's just like very high probability of a reaction here. Shout out to anybody who's sticking out through this rest of this live stream, because this is sauce. Like, again, doesn't mean that it's going to go to zero, right? But high probability of some kind of reaction here. Many, many levels of confluence. So, yeah, I would say, like, stay above the value area low at 61 cents. Daily naked point of control, 64 cents. Get above that. Next key level, 67 cents. Flip that. Huge level of resistance between 71 and 73 cents. So that's kind of what I would look at, right? Now, if we cool off, right, the idea here, or the thought, or question, I should say, is like, well, what's going to happen here, right? Like, are we going to just get in here? Are we going to cool off? I will say this. If you do get a cool off first, I would be interested in hopefully holding this level of support. Right, so if we reject here, remember, value area lows are resistance until proven otherwise, right? So we might cool off again. I would be looking at this key level of support between 57 and 54 cents as a high probability area, more specifically the daily naked point of control, golden pocket confluence, anchored VWAP, we're holding the anchored VWAP right now. So yeah, the if this then that here would be get above here, could open the door to about 67 to 72 to 73 cents, right? You have to get above the naked point of control at 64 cents, but that's like super, super local. So So yeah, it's always so hard, right? Like I don't know how local everybody wants me to go or how, macro people want to go. I assume most people who watch the YouTube live stream are more interested in like the bigger moves, right? So yo, shout out to Lakeville. I appreciate that, bro. Shout out to Lakeville. We got a gifted membership in the chat. Shout out to Lakeville. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much. And who got it? Eugene Sky got the gifted membership. Let's go, baby. Shout out to Eugene. Drop that golden emoji to show Lakeville some thanks for gifting that membership. Let's get it. Let's see. We now have more likes than viewers, guys. Something is broken. What is going on here? What the heck? Shout out to Jesse. Jesse, we got to give you a raise, bro. You're upgraded to lieutenant. I don't know what the highest. What sergeant? I think sergeant's higher. I don't even know. But shout out to Jesse. Something about the like police is working. Let's go. Let's see. Shout out to Abdul. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to Frankie. Shout out to you. I appreciate you for being here. But yeah, this is what I would look at, right? Like I'll be honest, right? Like daily naked point of controls. Like maybe this is they're definitely there, and now you guys have those levels to mark them off on your chart. And if you want to know how to mark off the NPOCs, guys, we do have a video in the beginner series showing you exactly how to use the tool that I just used to find these key levels of support and resistance. So for the most part, overall, right, like your goal is to hold above the value area low at about 62 cents. Do that. You can start your journey up towards the POC at 72 to 73 cents with the added little additional level of resistance here at the daily naked point of control golden pocket between 67 and 68 cents. So there you go. That's what I would look for on Cardano. Directionally and market cipher B wise, hard to call a direction. Like green dot on the 16-hour. Money flow kind of chopped up on the 1 hour. Let's check the 45-minute money flow crossover into the green. Yeah, you're just at resistance here. So that's your goal here is to reclaim 62 cents. If you could do that, you might be able to make it up to about 67 to 68. Flip that, go a little bit higher. If you lose it, this is the key level of support between 57 and about 54 cents. But let's see. Jesse said, I could chill now. Yes, Mark. Shout out to Jesse. Let's go, baby. Let's see. Oh, the viewers went up. Oh no! Now we need more likes, guys. We had more likes than viewers. Now we need 668 likes. We'll end the stream when the likes match the viewers. Let's go. Smash that like button. We need 35 likes. Let's go. Oh, Sergeant, Lieutenant, Captain. Captain being the highest. No? I would think. Right? No, I don't know. I can only like once. Shout out to Alex. What's money flow looking like? Shout out to Gotham on Cardano. It's kind of choppy, brother. Kind of choppy. Man, we're just in one of those times in the market, right? It's just like even with Bitcoin going sideways, we're just at one of those times, right? Last time we were confident. Last time, the charts were a little bit clearer for a confident move to a certain price was our last move to $88,000. Right here. 88K incoming. Like I just love those streams where we can be like, hey guys, 88K incoming. And then a couple days later, we're at 88K and it's like, see? But I only really like to do that when we're confident in the move. But, the charts are just chopped up right now, personally, in my opinion, with what I look at, right? So, yeah, on Cardano, it's just super chopped up here, right? Like daily money flow's flat. 2-day money flow is, maybe rounding up, but it's a little too soon to take anything, worthwhile away from that. But, yeah. Shout out to Crypto Max. He said, choppy stream. Are we lagging? Good Lord. Are we lagging? That's so weird. My concurrent viewers on one spot says 621. Concurrent viewers on the other spot says 707. Now it says 711. Is the weekly green dot still printing on Cardano? It is not. I don't know if this ever was printing. Was it? Shout out to Gen Z. Or are you talking about on Bitcoin? Bitcoin, the weekly green dot is still printing. So that's at least, still there, right? And the 10-hour money flow crossover into the green, right? This is kind of what we talked about for the continuation up. But again, right, like I would say I'm kind of neutral here. Like I said, if we get the little dump, you guys know the key levels of support I'm looking at that we looked at earlier in the stream. If you missed that, scrub back to the beginning of the stream. But 10-hour money flow crosses into the green with the weekly green dot. This would indicate the longer-term trend would continue to the upside, which makes me want to say I want to lean a little bit more towards a move to the upside, but that's just not enough for me to be super confident about. It's just that one little setup that we have. Typically a high probability, but it doesn't mean instant up, right? It's more of a continuation of the trend, and the continuation of the trend could mean range around a little bit more before coming up. Could be meaning coming down a little bit lower to put in a higher low and continue overall to the higher prices. So it's just like really in here, that's a little bit difficult to predict. But hey, if we can confirm that green dot, I mean, that 10-hour money flow crossover is what you would want to see. If we could see that come into a bigger green wave, we'll say this. If this weekly money flow, 10-hour money flow continues into the green and we confirm that green dot and this 10-hour money flow comes into a big green wave, very high probability in my opinion, that makes me feel good for much more upside. For the kind of our overall plan for a bigger retracement to the upside, right? With the nice bullish divergences into the macro support, which is the 786 weekly naked point of control we have down here. High time frame bull divs. Doesn't mean instant up, but does mean continuation up could be likely for that bigger retracement, right? Unless we get some kind of crazy news, Trump tweets, something like that, we get the bigger drop to the downside. But yeah, I would say that's kind of the only bullish sign that's like clearly printing. Everything else is kind of wish-washy right now. 3-day money flow is coming out, right? Like 3-day money flow still looks pretty bearish on Bitcoin. 2-day money flow still looks pretty bearish on Bitcoin. You have the 2-day bull div, right? Which, if we do continue the trend up off the local time frames, we would hope that this continues back up, right? But, until we get proven otherwise, my plan and my sentiment remains exactly the same as it's been for the past few weeks, which is, hey, or I wouldn't say past few weeks, but, or no, for the past couple months, right? Ever since the daily money flow crossover here in February, right? Which is lower highs and lower lows, right? Until this money flow shapes up, which again, daily money flow looks like it might want to start crossing or start curving up, right? That would be a good sign for a continuation up. But my overall thesis here is 2-day bull divs into key support. If this money flow starts to shape up, we could get a bigger retracement, but we have to be careful around that $97,000 zone. Why is that? Well, very simply put, if you look at the 2-day money flow, as long as this money flow stays deep in the red, this is an indication that it's going to continue to do higher lows, lower highs and lower lows, right? The overall trend. Money flow indicates the overall trend. And when you look at a higher time frame like this, could mean you're going to get a big retracement just to put in a lower high. And this 3-day money flow is still pretty much coming to the downside. Like this is not bullish, but it does have time to turn around, right? This money flow takes a long time. It's like a cruise ship, right? Like on the 4-hour, right, or like the 15-minute, the money flow goes up and down a lot, right? Oscillates very quickly. But on a daily time frame, it's a little bit slower. It's up and down, right? But then when you go up to the 3-day, it's even slower. It's like a cruise ship, right? So if price starts pumping like crazy tomorrow, this money flow is going to it's going to still take time to come up. And we're hoping for those higher time frame fake outs. But from a binary perspective, especially with the way the weekly money flow looks, if this weekly money flow does not start eating to the upside, that's a pretty bearish sign if we come up and this money flow just makes another lower high and starts curving out. That would be a huge indication that there's another massive lower high coming before massive lower lows to potentially come play inside this range. Maybe we hit up into the all-time highs again, sweep the highs. Like, we don't know what it's going to play out like, and that's why we're here every day at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to keep you guys updated. But, I would still say, like, higher daily time frame money flow is still a little bit suspicious for more downside, right? But if we start trending up, right, we start getting the bigger move up, maybe the 10-hour money flow with the weekly green dot that I just showed starts to play out over the weekend maybe. I wouldn't say is a high probability, but, if that does play out, we start pushing up. Then the daily money flow starts cranking to the upside, right? Starts crossing over into the green. Then the 2-day money flow starts to crank to the upside, right? And then the 3-day money flow finally starts to crank to the upside, and then hopefully it leaks into all these higher time frames. But right now, I would say 3-day, 4 days kind of flat, but I would say like the 2 and the 3-day money flow still look a little bit to me personally. Yo, shout out to Tales of Mystery. Thank you for the super chat, bro. I appreciate you so much. He says, I'm so surprised this channel has not hit 500,000 subscribers with this much value free of charge. Hope you stay on YouTube forever, bro. Shout out to Tales of Mystery. Well, I'm not going anywhere. I will say, guys, at some point, probably within the next, I want to say few months, I am going to have to take some kind of a break. I have not taken a vacation, like a real vacation that hasn't been like a work trip, in 3 years. So I might take a week to maybe go out on a vacation with Mrs. Candles or something, but try keeping me off the laptop, making a market update from a cruise ship or something. It's not going to happen. I'm going to have to do an update if price moves. But I will never leave the Candle Mafia. I don't care if we got to move over to Kick or Twitch or something. We're never leaving. We're here forever. And we'll always be in the Discord as well. But yeah, no, we'll be here forever. We will be here until we hit 500,000 subscribers, unless even if it takes 67 years. What's going on, Candle Mafia? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 540. Mrs. Candles! Mrs. Candles! Pump Bitcoin above 7 million, Mrs. Candles. Anyway, guys, I think that's all the time I got for today's live stream. Thank you all for tuning in. Shout out to Tony D. Thank you for the super chat. Said, "Wow, what a good brand new idea." Shout out to Tony D. I think he's talking about the vacation. Tony D has been begging me to take a vacation. He's like, "Dude, you're gonna die. Like, you look sick, dude. You're gonna die." And I'm like, "No." But when I do take the vacation, I'm going to pretend that Tony never requested it. And I'm just going to take it. I'm just going to pretend it was all my idea. I'm just kidding. Shout out to Tony D. He's the one that keeps me alive. Show Tony D some love. You know, we always show the mods love, which I absolutely love. But show Tony D some love. I always, he's technically a mod too. But show Tony D some love. Tony D is the other half of Frankie Candles. He's just not on camera. Sometimes he comes on camera. But shout out to Tony D, guys. Show Tony D some love. Drop some pizzas in the chat because Tony D makes the best pizza in town, especially in the ATL. But guys, I think we went a little long today. But thank you all for thank you all. We did a 2-hour stream. That's not bad. But yeah, we'll be back with you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time, right here, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for all the likes. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for all the kind words. That's what keeps me coming up here every single weekday at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Tony D. That's all I got. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
What's next for me, Joe? I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the f is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Spit shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, all they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, so nobody's into me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working, I'm up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
You know, I know you guys probably think I do this for the bit, but Tony D, low key, today came over and dropped off some, I think it's like linguine scungile. He drops off some fresh Italian food. He drops off some pasta for us, and it's crazy. Tony D is literally the epitome. I even said he's the poster child of an Italian guy. Hey, I left some macaroni outside your door, Frankie. Go pick it up. It's pretty crazy. So shout out to Tony D. We love you, bro. And shout out to the Candle Mafia. I love you guys as well. I'll see you tomorrow. Same place, same time. You know the rest. Hasta pasta. Frank Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah we winning by a landslide.
landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the